Well, looky what my neighbors, the cell phone tower people, left for me. Ho, 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 oh. I know there's some of my viewers that right now are gonna need a little bit of time. Go ahead, catch your breath. We'll be back after I catch mine. Hey everybody, it's Shark Scrapper. Well, this is a very unusual load for me. Most of it is material from the first load of scrap from the cell phone tower company that moved in next to me. We have a bunch of this Helix. So you saw this in a community post. Well, you may not have seen the community post. This is called Helix Cable. It's underneath this insulation is a layer of copper jacketing. Then there's, as you can see, there's like a white kind of foamy stuff and another copper jacket over an aluminum core. Yes, that's really supposed to be pronounced Helix, not Helix. It's Helix. Sorry about that. This green bin is mostly filled with this Helix, and then there's a bunch of extra. Don't know what they're paying me for that yet. I have a bunch of this kind of cable here, which is a combination of copper and fiber. So you see the two fiber ends here. These are called bullets, by the way. That's kind of interesting. I'm learning a lot of new vernacular from the cell phone tower guys. So you've got copper running up and down, and you've got fiber running up and down. I have a number of sections of this of different lengths. I'm taking in a sample to the yard so that we can talk through the best way for me to prepare this for maximum value. This is the other end right here. There's the fiber connections, there's the copper connections. It turns out that my yard will take this as number 2. These things are called bullets. Those are aluminum. So we cut that off. And then the yard said, don't worry about trying to split it out and get rid of the fiber that's inside. There's enough copper inside there that we'll just take it as number 2. So that's really nice, because that would have been a huge amount of work trying to split that out. And then the reality is that what's inside of it is just number 2. So it would have, unless I stripped it all the way down to the copper, which would have been a huge amount of work, there really isn't any value for me to do anything more than cut the bullets off and go with that. All right, we have in here, I have, this is copper. Let me pull that out for you real quick. So real nice heavy gauge copper here. And these connector ends are also copper. And then I have a bunch of stainless steel brackets and stuff underneath of there. This gives you a good idea. If you look right there, you can see the copper. So I'm taking this in because, again, this is my first load. I want to show the yard that I'll primarily be selling this stuff to, the kind of material I'm getting from these guys, so that we can work out how we want to handle it moving forward. Now, inside this bucket, I have a bunch of different kinds of heavy wire that I'll be getting as well. So we have wire that is copper. We also have this wire, which is plated copper. All right, so you can see the copper sheen on all the ends. So that's just a tinned copper kind of stuff. So again, we're figuring out how they want to grade that and how we're going to handle it moving forward. This is just a nice big bucket of the insulated copper wire that came off of that spool that you saw me post in Monday. Well, depending upon when you see this, it was a Monday video, a Monday street scrapping video, but I don't know when you're going to see this. Bucket of Christmas, that's not, that wasn't from the cell phone tower company. That's just was sitting here. All right, now, these brackets are interesting because they are mostly stainless steel, but there's a little bit of this weird kind of aluminum alloy. Let me take you over to the other side of the Sharkmobile and show that to you. The card's just going back to Mrs. Shark. We need that at the house. The aluminum bracket itself is 2.68 pounds. Now, interestingly enough, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, I'm going to see if I can get a picture of it. Yeah, there we are. All right, so what's interesting here is this is stamped ALSI 10 mg and then in parentheses FE. So I'm going to have to look that up. It turns out that is an aluminum alloy that is composed of silicon at anywhere from 9 to 11% by weight, iron at 0.55% maximum by weight, and then it's got a little bit of copper and manganese and magnesium and nickel and zinc and lead and tin and such in it. So it is an alloy that is very good for casting and has strength properties because of what it's alloyed with. Now, in this mix, I have ALSI 10 and ALSI 12. The number just tells you the approximate amount by weight of silicon in with the aluminum. So it's an aluminum alloy, and turns out that it gets bought as cast aluminum unless I have a lot of it, and I mean a lot of it. So right now it's just cast aluminum at about 50 cents a pound of that ALSI. So, oh yeah, and then we have a bunch of this copper. So this is copper sheathing from cables, and that stuff is nasty. I mean, that'll cut you up in a heartbeat. There's also quite a bit of ferrous material, brackets, bars, heavy gauge pipe beams, not thick enough to be prepared, but still pretty heavy, and a lot of stainless steel fixtures. Plus, we have some of this, well, more accurately, about 100 pounds of this. Now, this is steel pipe that has plastic jacket with steel fixtures. So that's just going to go in the shred pile. And I got back from that run, which by the way was $185, and found more stuff sitting at the entrance to the shark cage waiting for me. And these brackets, turns out that the yard is buying them as just cast aluminum. I have to take out those bolts. Those bolts are stainless steel. So, cast aluminum and stainless steel. Now, we did talk about if the quantity picks up, maybe keeping them separate, and then they would pay me a separate price because it's actually an aluminum alloy. But we're talking about, you know, a pretty big load in order to separate it out. It may not be worth the hassle of doing that. A lot of cable, so there's a big old chunk of cable there. I want to weigh that up. We've got some stainless, some shred material. That is very interesting. Helix type material. It's much larger than the first batch of Helix, and you can see this nice copper jacket all the way around. So I will probably cut that off and split that and get the copper jacket out of there. All right. Then let's see. We have some more cable. I've been sort of trying to separate the cable. That's why it's laying all over the place. Been trying to organize it by type of cable. So this is real nice copper inside of that cable. So we'll strip that. That'll go through my stripper without any trouble. Data cable. So well, I just noticed that not all of this is data cable. So I'm going to have to go through this a little more carefully because there's clearly some copper. Here, we'll deal with that. This is ferrous, so that's just going to go in with the shred, and I'll check at the yard that buys my shred how they want to handle that, if they want it on the shred pile or separated from the shred pile. So we'll see what way they want to go on that. And then back here, we've got a bunch more cable. I think this is the start of a very interesting relationship. Hey y'all, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. These links are taking you to more of my scrapping videos. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, that's that little icon in the middle of the two links. Everybody be safe out there. We'll see you on the next one.